Hello, happy Tuesday. You guys, I really need to change up hair washing day because every time I film these videos, I mean, it's not that bad, but every time I film these videos, my hair, I pull it back up. It's like an up hair day, if you know, you know. I need to wash it, but I'm trying to push it out one more day, you know? Isn't beauty so funny? Like how just we latch onto these advices and trends and we're like, yeah, I'm not gonna wash my hair for a week. I feel like when in high school I washed my hair every day because I was like wanting it to smell good. I guess that's just having more knowledge of what's healthier for your hair and you know. Welcome to Carly's Chats, where we chat on Tuesdays. I take comments down from the section below and either the video before linked in the notes or one of the previous Carly Chats videos. Last week was like a doozy. It was just like a busy day and I don't feel the best about that show. I try to touch on religion and like where I'm at with that. And I don't know, I didn't feel my best about that video. It was just like a scrambled day. I don't know. I did want to clarify, I try not to pick out the questions or read the comments until I'm like actually ready to film like in the moment, because sometimes I think like, oh my gosh, I will overthink it. I don't know why I said, oh my gosh, I'll overthink it, or I will lose my good thoughts. Like the other day I was like reading comments on the last chat video and I had such good commentary for like things I would say in response to some of the comments or like things I wanted to say as a follow-up on this video, and then I like lost my thoughts. So it's like I have to is anyone else this way? Am I the only one? I want to be in the moment and present, like as if I was talking to a girlfriend who like we're like sitting down at brunch or lunch or like voice texting or something, and she's asking me, this is looking crazy, don't worry. She's asking me for advice. And so it just feels like very intuitively in the moment and like my genuine first response, dramatic response. Does that make sense? And then I try to like think on it, and if I have like greater points that I want to like bring it back to, then I come back on the video and I leave it down in the comments. Anyways, today is Tuesday. It is a crazy day. Jackson has appointments all day. And so I'm home with the girls, 3 girls at home, and it's just a crazy day. I'm filming and editing today, which I try to usually film on Mondays and then have time to edit them. But today is just, or May, if you know, you know, moms, if you know, you know. May is just, it's like, I like to call it May Day, but it's like the whole month of May. There's so much going on. There's dance recitals and spring sports and spring pictures and graduations and you know, all the things. And so I just feel like as moms in May, we're like our hustle is never ending in May, you know? And then you get through it and you get to June and then summer kicks off and your kids are home all day with you and you're like, I don't know what to do with you. Just kidding. I love summer. I love not having a schedule. I love just being like, let's do whatever the freak we want today. I don't know. It must be the Gemini in me, like love having no schedule, but I also think I think I'm starting to grow up. I think I'm starting to feel better when I'm on a schedule. I don't know. All these things you get to learn about yourself as you age and, you know, grow. Let's get into it. I didn't want you guys to be freaked out. This skin tint I'm wearing is so cool. It's like a flex skin tint. So like you put it on and it can flex up or flex down in shades. So when I first put it on, I was like, this is not my color. But as you blend it out, it like blends so well and matches you, and then that way you don't have to buy too fair or too dark like in winter and in summer when your skin color changes. Pretty impressed with that. It's not high coverage, so it's like medium coverage, so your face still looks like skin, which I like, but like I'm seeing things that I am not loving. Let's get into some questions. I'm polling questions. Don't forget to leave your guys' questions because I had to go back a couple of videos because you guys are so sweet and you just comment, but I need your questions. So don't forget to leave questions or like just topics you want to chat about. At how Casey Celeste. Pronouncing that wrong for sure. I'm sorry. Love this. What have been some of the biggest life lessons you've learned? Oh my gosh. Number 1 is to trust your intuition. That can be really hard because I think there's so much outside noise sometimes. It feels hard. Like, I will admit, first and foremost, and I don't know if this is how I am by nature or because of my past experiences, but I'm not a very trusting person, but then I'm like overly trusting. It's a really weird place to be in. Like, I still struggle in my marriage having really invasive thoughts of like, I'm just getting real vulnerable real quick. I still struggle in my marriage with invasive thoughts of, you know, Jackson and I not working out, or him like leaving me for someone better or younger, or you know, just like things like that. And it's so hard because intuitively I like have to step back and regroup and look at we've almost been married it'll be 9 years this year. Look at our history and our past and remind myself like how I'm feeling. And intuitively I like know that he's a good man and that he, you know, has never done anything to give me much to worry about. But like in the back of I feel like I'm always on guard, like this could happen, this could be a thing. And I just think sometimes like we have to really get in tune with ourselves, whether you're needing therapy and help through that, or you just need like some quiet time to sit with your thoughts and like work through them. And I like something that I've done that has really helped me process like unhealthy thoughts or help me get through hard times is to challenge my thought. So if you're having a thought like, you know, let's say like my friends don't like me, I want you to sit in that moment with that thought, and I want you to think on both sides, why they do like you and why they don't like you. Whatever naturally comes up first, I want you to challenge the opposite of that and try to go back and forth with both sides. Does that make sense? I think it's really easy to get into these like thought patterns and rhythms and grooves of how we like naturally want to act. And it's so good to step back and almost play like, is it called devil's advocate? And like, you know, think through the complete opposite side of that. And just give yourself like a little mental challenge, a little mental exercise. And so like, you know, the biggest life lessons I've learned in life is like so many times I have felt intuitively a certain way, but then I get in my own way and like I don't trust myself, and I just like, I don't know, don't listen to my inner voice. And I really, really regret that. Because I think the more that you don't listen to it and the more you deny it, the easier it is for that little voice to kind of go away. And then you lose it. And then you're like, where are you? I need you. Try to learn to listen to yourself. Like what feels natural, what feels right. And explore, sit in the moment with that thought and that feeling. And like I said, do that little exercise of like challenging your thoughts and think on both sides of the coin. When you have a thought. I would also say the biggest life lessons I've learned is like not to take things too seriously. And I know that's really hard because sometimes in the moment it can feel like everything, right? Like a breakup or a job letdown or a friend breakup, and it can just feel so overwhelming and so hard and so like this was everything to me. My world is crashing down, you know, whatever you may be feeling. But I just challenge you to like step back, take a nap, give it a day. And just remember that like life will move on and you will move on with it, and you can become stronger and better and learn so much from opposition. Like, I guess that would be the biggest thing. If I could look back and tell myself something, like my younger self something, is like, you are going to learn so much throughout life through opposition and trials. And rather than like, you know, avoiding them or, you know, definitely don't go out and cause them, but rather than just feeling like sorry for yourself, Carly, in moments of like, this sucks, like kind of learn to lean into it. And I know that that sounds crazy and really hard to do, but it just really is like that refining fire that's going to make you incredible and make you amazing. And especially if you can adopt that attitude of like, I'm not a victim, I can learn, I can grow, I can overcome, I can champion this. It truly will set you so much further ahead in life if you can do that. And I know that that's so much being easier said than being done. And I want to hug you and give you so much grace if you're struggling through something that's like just really hard and overwhelming. But I just want you to know that like you are capable and you have what it takes to overcome hardship in life, and that it really truly can be something of good that can come if you let it teach you and you don't fall victim to it. You know, I love you, and whatever it is that you're struggling with, just know that I'm here for you, and I love you, and I see you, and I see your magnificent power that you can channel and be and become, and just know that you are freaking fire sauce, baby, okay? And don't let anyone ever tell you differently. Life lessons. Have fun. Just have fun and laugh and be around the good, whatever it is. Like, don't try to be around things that the thought that came to my mind is like, who cares what's cool? Who cares what's trending? Who cares what like people are gonna think of you? Do what you love. Do what feels fun for you. Your life is like, our lifespan is really so short, and we don't have tomorrow. And life, like laughter in life is so rich. It really is. This is sounding so cheesy and Hallmark, but laughter in life is so rich, and it is just like the medicine that we all need. And so just don't take things too seriously. Learn to laugh, learn to enjoy where you're at. And I have so much I could say on that, but that's what's coming to mind right off the bat. And I hope whatever I said has helped you. Next question from Chelsea J12. She says, I want to know how and if you're prioritizing your social life and friends at the stage you are in, and what does that look like for you? Since becoming a mom, I struggle with having girl time because it's too overwhelming to put something together while juggling young kids. But I know I personally need it so bad. Okay, the first thing that came to my mind is I was listening to my friend Lex Nevin's podcast, Dressed or Lost in Lala. Something about Lala. I can't ever freaking remember. I do love her podcast and I listen to it, but I just never say the title right. She openly talked about her experience with her first baby, and that after she had him, she went through really bad postpartum, and she didn't even really know she was experiencing it until she like called her doctor. Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, that's what I thought of. And her doctor literally prescribed her a night out with her friends. She's like, I don't care how you have to get it done. Like, you got to reel in the husband, the partner, the mother-in-law, the friend, the cousin, the whoever to help you. But you need a night out to socialize with your girlfriends. And that really stood out to me, because I think that, like, I don't know if I'm talking for the masses, but I know for me personally, like when it comes to like a night out with my friends, like in theory, it sounds so fun. Like, oh gosh, I would love to do that. But then like, I swear the night or like the moment it comes down to it, I'm like tired. The last thing I want to do is put on cute clothes that I don't feel like fit me right. And the kids are screaming and crying, and I feel guilty for leaving them at home with my husband, and you know, all those things. And so then you just don't do it, and you cancel, and then you're like, you know, not happy. But moments that I have prioritized it. Also, I'm trying this for the first time, so there might be a little learning. The Dibs bronzer blush stick. For anyone who is not watching, who's just listening, I'm doing my makeup, and I ordered these off of a TikTok. I don't know, you know how they pull you in on the ads, and somebody on my Instagram recommended it. So anyways, I'm trying this for the first time. The nights I have prioritized going out with my friends and like making that a thing, I was so grateful that I did end up like doing it, because I feel like it just made me happy, and it felt good to like be me again without having to be mom for the night, you know, even if it's just like a 2-hour, 1-hour dinner. I was so grateful that I went, and I didn't regret it, because like it just felt good to get dressed up and to go out and to do something. I can't even remember the last time I went to dinner with my girlfriends. I think it was like, honestly, January. That's really terrible to say. I'm a homebody, I really am, and I actually struggle with social anxiety really bad. And so it's hard for me to commit to that, but here's what's like my toxic trait. My toxic trait is like, if I saw my friends out doing something like that and I wasn't invited, I would feel so sad and left out. But then I'm the same person that's like, but you need to invite me, but I don't know if I'll end up going, but like I want to feel invited, you know? To say to that, like, I think it's so important you do prioritize like your social life, and I don't do a good job of that. I always feel guilty. I always feel like my husband's gonna be annoyed, and that's not true. These are just conversations we're like making up in our head And I don't know why we do that to ourselves. But he would always be the first to be like, no, go, like, go do something, you know, like, I'll watch the kids, whatever. But I don't know why it is. We just like self-sabotage and we're like, no, I don't need to go. I don't need to go do that. But it is really important that you prioritize yourself. And I'm glad that I'm reading this comment because it's like something that I need to read for me. Also, I was realizing I was needing some girl time. And so I started my own little like business. I called it the Shark Tank group. And I just texted a bunch of my friends who own businesses and I was like, hey, would you guys want to get together like once a month and like kind of like Shark Tank style pitch our businesses and our struggles and where we're at and where we want to be, like where we want to grow to and what we're facing with like problems in the industry, and kind of just like Shark Tank pitch to each other, and we can all help one another like collaborate on ideas of growth and ways to improve and like just have some girl time but also some business time, so it feels like we're multitasking and getting, you know, two birds with one stone. I kind of like these sticks, I think. And that made me feel excited. I felt excited and motivated and I want to do that, but I know like the night come down to it, I'm gonna start to feel like, oh, I shouldn't go, I can't make it, something will come up. But we need to not do that. We need to show up for ourselves and we need to give ourselves an outlet. And even if like you're not invited to the party, then be the party. I think it was Jordan Page, if you guys follow her on Instagram or YouTube. I think her thing is Fun, Cheaper, Free. She teaches you how to live live within, not live within your budget. She teaches you how to budget properly for big families and like how to, she does something called like dinner off the shelf or something like that, where she teaches you to like cook dinners from whatever's in your pantry so you can save money. She's brilliant. I really like her. But she had said one time when like they had moved to Utah, she had felt like she was like the outcast, like no one was inviting her to these big influencer things, and she was feeling like left out and just like, oh, not good enough, you know, as we would all feel. And she's like, so I decided like, okay, if I'm not going to be invited to the party, I'm going to throw the party. And that really, really stuck out to me. And I really love that advice, because like we could sit in our feelings and feel bad for ourselves and be like, oh, they didn't invite me, and you know, self-spiral, negative spiral, go down that rabbit hole. Or we could be like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna throw the party and I'm gonna invite all the people and it's gonna be so fun, and it doesn't have to be difficult or like extravagant or expensive. We can just literally all show up at my house, bring our own favorite drinks and treats, and just sit around a table and have some time to be like, to connect. It doesn't have to be like this fancy garden party, right? I don't know about you, but like for me to like be invited to like a night of just having treats and sodas and sitting around in our sweatpants and just talking. Hello, that sounds so fun. I want to do that ASAP, sign me up. My message to you is to do your best to prioritize and to make it part of your month. Like once a week, I don't know, that's a lot, but like once a month, I know I could make that happen. And I know that we would all benefit from that, because like, as a mom, you need an outlet and you need social time. Social time is so good for you. Like it really truly is. And you need a break. You need time away from your family, your responsibilities. Like you just need to feel like you, even if it's on putting on some freaking, I wish I lived in a bigger city. I would go dancing. That would be my thing. If I lived in a bigger city, I would freaking go dancing. We actually used to go, like Jackson and I have been to a bar in our marriage. I don't know, we've been married 9 years. We've been to a bar together probably 5 times. And every time it was just like on a whim to like go dancing, because I just wanted to go shake my ass, you know, and just dance on him and be sexy and just like have fun. And we used to go to this bar. It's now closing because literally the town we live in is just not thriving in the nightlife. It was so fun. I remember just feeling young again and silly, and it was good for our marriage. Like we were flirting and it was just so fun. And so like that's, if I lived in a big city, I would freaking go dancing. I'd want to get dressed up and feel hot and steamy and go dance, or just let your hair down. Or like I even thought about one time, I was like, I want to make a club for moms where you can just literally wear leggings and like a sweater and a messy bun. And they're like, there's cereal, there's cookies, there's sodas. If you drink alcohol, there's alcohol. Like, and we're all just like dancing and laughing to 90s music. Like, would that not just be such a good therapy session for all moms? Like, yes, please sign me up. There could be a room where like they brush your hair and you just lay there in silence, you know? There could be a room where you just are served a hot dinner and you don't have to get up and help anybody. They just serve you and you get to eat your whole dinner without being interrupted. I'm telling you, it'd be a thing. That was a whole tangent. Okay, moving on. Prioritize your social life. And thank you for reminding me to do the same because I need to. My husband struggles with drinking too much at times. Any tips on that and how to talk to your children about it so they won't follow in those footsteps when they're adults? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna have the best advice. This one's really, really hard. I think first and foremost, you need to have an honest sit-down conversation with your husband and just express to him your feelings. I would try your best to go in without pointing any fingers or without using any you statements. Like, when you drink too much, you make me feel away. It makes us fight and it's your fault. You know, like, it just feels really like an attack environment. And so my best advice would just be to like sit him down and just to own your feelings. Like, I feel really scared when you drink because it makes me feel like I can't connect with you or whatever it is, right? Not that you're not trying to give, like, be honest with like where you want them to be or not where you're putting blame but I just think that like that can be such a sensitive thing. And if this person is struggling with addiction, which it kind of sounds like maybe that's like a borderline they are, it will be really hard to get a genuine conversation out of them if they feel attacked, right? But if you go into it owning your feelings and being like, hey, I really love you and I love our marriage and I'm so grateful for our kids. I want us to thrive together and I want us to be a team and I want you to be my buddy and I want you to be on my side, but it's really hard for me to feel like that when drinking is involved. I feel really scared when you drink too much, or it makes me really nervous that the kids are gonna pick up on this behavior, you know, whatever it needs to be, but do your best. It's hard, it's really hard. Like, even practicing that with you, it's hard to come up with I statements. So have an honest conversation, maybe take him out on date night where maybe there's no alcohol, like you already go get the food or something and you guys just have like this honest sit down moment and you do your best to lead into the conversation with I statements. I feel, right? And so it feels less like attacking him and more just owning your feelings and where you're at. And then with the children, I would just be very blunt. Kids can handle the truth. I would say, I want you guys to understand like what a gift our bodies are and how important it is that we take care of them in all aspects. That's why we work out. That's why we drink a lot of water. That's why we take our vitamins. That's why we are in sports and activities. Like, we're honoring our bodies and what God has given us. And God has given us these healthy, beautiful bodies. We need to take care of them. And something that's really important is not putting things in our bodies that are toxic, that can be really addictive and harmful, such as sugar. Sugar can be harmful and addictive, and it's a fun little treat, but it can be something that's really dangerous to our bodies. So is alcohol. Alcohol can be really addictive and harmful to our bodies, and that's why we have to be really careful when we're legally old enough to make that choice, that we really remember, you know, truly how toxic alcohol can be. Even if like you are somebody who drinks, alcohol is so bad for you, you guys, like it really is. So I don't know, that's a really tricky one. I know it's really sensitive. I would think about it, I would pray about it, I would lead into it with grace, but I would just be honest and, you know, lead from the standpoint of alcohol is not healthy. I have these talks with Cooper a lot because he's at that age where, you know, he sees it at high school parties and his friends do it and whatever. And so we've had a lot of conversations about it. His dad is also a recovering alcoholic. He's really open with Cooper about that. I think he has his 10-year coin, which is really cool. You know, Cooper and I have had many conversations about like, hey, you know, addiction runs in your dad's side of the family. It runs in my side of the family. Like, your chances of just having a drink to have fun, you know, could look so different for you than it could another kid because of your chances of getting addicted. And, you know, like I tell him, I try to be funny. Like, I always lead into things with humor just because I want to lighten the mood. But I like always tease them. I'm like, it'll stunt your growth and you won't grow as tall if you drink alcohol, which is true in a sense. If you look at the studies on what alcohol does to the brain before the brain is fully developed, if you drink alcohol, like if you start drinking alcohol before your brain is fully developed, it inhibits the growth of your mature, like the side of your brain that develops like your emotional maturity. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of freaking sense. So kids who are underage drinking, like, it really is so much more than just don't do it because it's bad. Like, it really truly is just bad for your brain. It doesn't allow for your frontal cortex, or I think I'm saying that right, to develop, like, your whatever is in charge of developing your emotional state in your brain. Like, it like holds you back from being able to make emotional decisions that are, you know, where you need to be at. It'd be like asking a 5-year-old, it'd be like a 5-year-old making an emotional decision as a 1-year-old would, you know? Like, think about it in that sense. You know, have those conversations about health and like the good and the bad of alcohol. Is there any good? I don't know. It's tricky. Okay, well, my battery is telling me that it's low. This was a longer episode, but I got through, I think, 3 questions. I really am loving these, you guys. It's just like a fun way to connect. It's a fun way to be open with you and just to share more of me and my beliefs and hear from you guys. Please leave some topics down below in the comments that we can get to next week. Something I've been wanting to talk about is like plastic surgery. That's such like a high point emotional thing to want to talk about. If we're gonna do it, let's just do it. Let's just talk about the dang things. But I would like things like that. Like, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? What do we need to deep dive into? And let's do it. I love you. Happy Tuesday. I hope this was helpful. And I'm gonna go, I need to wash my hair and take care of my baby. Do you hear her? Okay, love you, bye.